Welcome to Accreditation Talk. Thank you for joining us today. During each episode of Accreditation Talk, we'll be learning about accreditation at Midstate. I'm your host, Sheila Cover, Accreditation and Senior Evaluation Strategist and Higher Learning Commission Accreditation Liaison Officer for Midstate. Today's guest for Accreditation Talk is Trea Kimball, a Curriculum and Assessment Specialist. Thank you for joining us today. To start, can you tell us what is little a?
Little a is where faculty or co-curricular folks are looking at specific student learning outcomes, whether it's program outcomes, employability skills, the co-curricular outcomes, our course competencies, and any TSA outcomes, anything like that, and whatever the student learning experience is, did they meet the level that we expect them to for college? So we look at the formative evaluations, which is what happens in class on just like a moment-by-moment basis. This is the let's water the plant, let's make the plant grow, let's put it in the sun. And then summative, which is where we're evaluating or judging what is the end result. Did they meet that benchmark that we were looking for?
And how long have faculty been doing assessment?
Forever. Faculty are always assessing. That's nothing new. But what is kind of new is our process for reporting the data, gathering and collecting the data across the college. And that started in the fall of 2019. And during that time, we started collecting all of the sources of competencies and everything that I just talked about. And then faculty were asked to tell their story about what did this data really mean.
And what does it mean to tell your story?
Telling your story is basically summed up as this. I noticed this. I realized that this could be a barrier. I fixed it. And as a result, students are doing this percentage better, and we're moving on and living happily ever after. So that, in a nutshell, is what assessment is. It's telling that story. And we do that with our colleagues, whether we're just standing around the water cooler or typing up emails or things like that. But then there have to be some more formal ways for us to do that as a college. And that is going to help us with our student-centeredness, our institutional effectiveness, our institutional health, the big pillars and circles and strategic plan ideas that we have across the college.
What mechanisms do we have in place for little a assessment?
Watermark and Blackboard. We have two programs that we use. One is Watermark and the other is Blackboard. And Blackboard is where faculty are putting in grades for students. And students can see that feedback. They can see not only the grade, but we encourage faculty to put in some feedback of some sort, and that is all available in Blackboard. And then at the end of each term, we have what we call a data day for faculty to talk with their counterparts and decide what worked, what didn't work, what are we going to change, and tell that story about it. Then that's what gets put into Watermark, the number of students that met or didn't meet a certain outcome. And then we have an annual assessment report then that takes all of that information and puts it together. So, Sheila, from the HLC standpoint, what little a things are they looking for when they visit us?
The HLC would expect to see comprehensive evidence demonstrating a systematic and integrated approach to assessment that supports student learning, program effectiveness, and continuous improvement. And HLC would expect to see general education, course program, and institutional level learning goals and outcomes. They'd expect to see institution learning outcomes and rubrics, and then documentation of curricular assessment and improvements based on data, and then an assessment plan and processes and what our assessment cycle is.
So having an assessment cycle and having a plan.
Yes.
And then having a report saying how we did on that plan. And then the evidence of things like reports from Watermark.
Exactly.
Saying that, and telling the story, right? So like saying, because of this, we did this, and this is the growth. So going back to this, we're going to weigh cow, feed cow, weigh cow, or we are going to look at that plant, water it, and then see how much it grows.
Yes.
And really, HLC wants to know, what was the growth?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for joining us today. This is our Accreditation Talk on Little A. Join us again for another fascinating and exciting episode of Accreditation Talks.